Hello! I wanted to welcome everyone to my second video about blue death feigning beetles. As you can see right in front of me, I have got two of them. They're really interested in either the shade that this little aloe plant is throwing or they're eating its roots. I've heard that that does happen if you plant inside of a desert blue death feigning beetle enclosure. Sometimes they'll eat the roots of your plants. So these plants I've actually had laying around for a long time. Not super concerned about that, so I'm just going to let them go to town. I've got another one right up here, just hanging out, climbing the corner. Ignore that very, very old thermometer that won't come off of the tank. And forgive me for the fact that this glass, it could really stand to be cleaned. Couple of things that I just wanted to talk about. The first thing that I wanted to mention is there are a lot of people in this hobby that are trying to breed these guys. They're difficult to breed. In fact, the Cincinnati Zoo just a couple of years ago cracked the code, and it took them 4 years to figure out what they needed to do to get these guys to breed in captivity. From my understanding, they like it to be 88 degrees. So really quite hot, which makes sense because they are from the desert. But they also need a little moisture, and they like oak. So what I've done here, as you can see, is I actually have an oak chunk sort of buried in the substrate. And then, if you go around to the side and sort of look at my hill here, this is layers and layers of sand, old aquarium gravel, little rocks, and then I've also got quite a few crumbled up oak leaves in here, and of course the oak stump. I've got a couple of broken up pieces of oak as well, because from my understanding they like oak. Now, another thing that I have done, and I have no idea if this is going to work, this is all just complete speculation on my end, but if you look around the enclosure, you will see mealworms. Now, mealworms are not recommended when you're breeding blue death feigning beetles because they can be cannibalistic to their larvae. However, what I wanted to do is to get something to kind of break down this oak log. And if you look really closely at these little holes, the mealworms are doing it. All of that brown around it is actually broken down oak, not sand. So we'll see what happens, and then eventually I plan to take the mealworms out. But we will see how this goes. I actually am not even sure. I've got a heat lamp on here, but I don't know if my temp is correct. So I'm about to get a thermometer and a hygrometer, and we'll see what happens. No big deal if I have 0 success. I sort of expect that. But they're fun little creatures, and I appreciate you watching this video.